Oh, shoot. It's asking me to sign in to Bro Time. This is becoming a lot more... Yeah, it's asking me to log in. Email. See what? Oh, shit. Really? What's on there? Alright, well, I gotta figure out where that is and why that's... No, it's supposed to be delayed. Does it look okay? But why can I not see it in YouTube? Studio. I don't understand. So I have to join, but I can't change anything on here? Top chat. And my window, I think, is jacked up. Let's see. Check. It's from Bro Time. Okay. Alright. Let's put it up here in this corner. Need my notes. Yep, I've got it recording here. And I just don't understand why I can't see the whole chat. Alright. 2 watching now. It's probably you and me. Yeah, it says 1 now. Is it easier for you to watch the YouTube channel to respond and all that? Okay, so I'm going to not have it up. I'm afraid to close the wrong window though. What did Jamie say? Okay. Alright, so I'm just going to monitor OBS, and if you see something off on YouTube, let me know. I'm assuming sound's coming through okay. So I need to mic check you. Okay, so... audio. I need sound from desktop. active. Audio monitoring tracks. Mono active. It says it's active. So why? Properties. Device. Here we go. This is Kraken. Alright, it might start echoing here in a second. Let me know what you hear. Give me a check.
Check 1, 2. Balls.
Alright, it might start echoing here in a second. Give me a check.
Okay, I can hear it. It's a little faint, but I can hear it.
Okay, so I'm gonna turn mine down and yours up. Because it shows really loud on here.
Balls.
Okay, I can hear it. It's still faint, but I can hear it.
Okay, I think we should be good.
Do you hear a lot of noise, background noise?
I do. Hang on. Yeah, I hear the feedback and stuff. I'm gonna go mute it.
So I think we're good on sound. Man, don't you love it when there's these noobs that try to go live on YouTube and they can't get their shit together?
It's only the 9th or 10th time we've tried to go live and have fallen flat on our faces, but...
See, if you look back there, you can actually see my monitors and everything that I'm looking at right now. See my face. Yeah.
I can see you on my TV.
I'm seeing my face more than I really want to right now. I'm going to put this, I'm assuming it's going to go there. Robert is going to go here. Of course, Jody is... Robert, which Robert am I using? Not that one, I'm going to delete that one. Remove. Yes. And then I got this Robert. And I got James. I'm going to make his bigger. For when he comes in. Yeah. And then Zach's bigger. Okay. So I've got like our names and stuff that can go up on there. Not that anybody really cares, but... So what I'm going to do is I'm going to switch... Oh shit, I don't know if I can switch accounts while I'm doing this.
Switch accounts to chat back or whatever?
To mine, and to see what it looks like from the outside in. But I'm afraid that if I switch out, it kills the feed. I don't know. I think OBS is doing it, but I don't know.
So you logged into OBS?
Yeah.
The YouTube part of OBS?
Yeah.
I gotcha. So, for those of you who are catching this later on the recorded section, welcome to Bro Time. Tonight we're talking conspiracy theories. We are just waiting on Jamie and Zach to arrive. Jamie's doing bedtime with the boys. That sounds kind of weird. He's got 3 boys doing bedtime. It's not some kind of weird, bar with the boys type thing. It's, bedtime with his sons. We got Jody here.
What up?
Ready to rock and roll. Jody, since we're killing some time here, what are you drinking?
High Noons tonight.
High Noons, alright.
Yeah.
What's your favorite flavor of High Noon?
Man, I think I like grapefruit the best overall. Not overly sweet. Pineapple might be my second.
Gotcha. I'm not. I haven't really got into the whole high noon thing. I'd just rather have a beer, I guess.
So yeah, I kind of bounce around. I'll drink some whiskey some nights. I'll drink some Michelob Ultra. Usually the Michelob Ultra is like if the wife is drinking, it's something that we can share that we both don't mind.
Makes sense.
That's the easy way for that one.
Yeah.
But yeah.
Just while we're talking about what whiskey or bourbon are you working on now?
Man, right next to my desk. No joke. This is what I have. So I've got my Elijah Craig.
Nice.
And then still got this bottle that I got from Louisiana. Still sitting here. I've been kind of taking my time on this one because
I mean you can't get another bottle.
I can't. Yeah, I can't get it. I got it from a place out in New Orleans. Yeah, so that one I've been taking my time. But that's what I have right here. I literally keep 2 glasses and 2 bottles typically right here next to the desk.
So TX Whiskey on Saturday is releasing their Legacy Barrel, which I got a Legacy Barrel here from Herman Marshall. But a Legacy Barrel apparently, and I didn't know this, is they'll release it. This one was released on their 8-year anniversary.
Yeah.
TX Whiskey is releasing theirs on their 7-year anniversary. I think they've been around longer than that, but maybe that's just...
That's what I was going to say, is like, there's no way it's only been 7 years for those guys.
Yeah, maybe it's like for when they got into the new distillery. I don't know.
Oh, yeah.
So hopefully being able to get out there on Saturday and catch a bottle of that. But one I'm kind of digging, and I've been working on it in just in my spare time, is Traveler. I don't know.
Yep. Maybe put the hand behind it, whatever the funky... No, that I guarantee that doesn't work. I was just being stupid, man.
Yeah. No? Alright.
Yeah.
It's pretty good. It was one of those ones that they made me buy just to get the Eagle Rare or the Buffalo Trace.
Oh, yeah.
Which reminds me, I'm out of Buffalo Trace again. Seems to be a common problem.
I think I've got a sliver left in my bottle.
The problem is I need to go see if I can get a bottle now because they're going to be off all summer. There's not going to be any Buffalo Trace all summer.
See, I haven't been tracking it that closely. Normally, if I want it, I go out and get it. It's normally available.
They had a huge flood there, and the factory shut down, so I need to swing by and maybe pick up a bottle or 2 to get me through the summer, and probably come up with some sort of backup for the summer. TX is usually a pretty good one to rock during the summer months or whatever, but I still have a whole bottle of Eagle Rare. I haven't even busted out yet. Can't wait.
There's Jamie.
Hey, Jamie.
Alright, I should be able to hear you now.
Check 1, 2.
Yep.
Jody, is there a way where you could put Jamie side by side? Like all 3 of us in a row?
Can you do that on Squadcast?
Well, that's the way I have it. I'm trying to see how I did that.
Maybe...
Close your chat window and squeeze it?
Oh, yeah.
Like you.
Yeah, close all your tabs. Do you have...
No, you can see it. I've got everything hidden.
Huh.
So when it's in this view, let me see if I have any options. Hide yourself. Nope.
That's weird.
Can't drag the screens around. Can I click? And picture-in-picture cast. Nope.
Yeah, it's weird.
That is weird when it's in full screen.
Because I have us all 3 lined up. If not, that's fine. It'll be fine. Just wish we could have put a background or something on it if that was the case.
Oh, can you add a background after the fact?
Yeah, I can do it later, but...
Oh.
I was just talking about for the live captioning. Okay. Haven't heard from Zach at all, so
Sure.
kind of gotta assume he may not make it. Jamie, drinking anything tonight?
I am not. Just some regular old iced tea.
Iced tea.
Is it regular old though? Is it out of a pitcher?
Well, it's out of a mason jar.
Nice.
All right, that works. That flies.
Yeah. I mean, do you put anything in your tea, Jamie, or is it just tea?
We use it's a blend of Lipton Organic black tea, and the other bit is Lipton Southern tea with an artificial sweetener. That's the tea I'm drinking this evening.
Nice. I like the names, Jody. Looks good.
Yeah. Because I was using these back when we were doing the other way.
Cool.
What's this?
We're on YouTube Live today.
Oh. Alright.
So don't fuck it up, Jamie.
So we'll get swatted by the time we get through with each of our conspiracies, and we'll go from there.
I don't have the software to do this. I am unarmed right now. Just joking. I'm secured out to the max. You'll never find me. It reroutes to the Bahamas.
Wait, we're actually in the Bahamas this week.
Funny
to
story.
change it.
Live from the Bahamas. It's bro time.
So real quick, I wanted to go over, Jamie, which conspiracy are you going to be talking about tonight?
Oh man, so I started out because we've had like a month to do research, and I started out like, yeah, this is a conspiracy theory. It's not a conspiracy theory. Everything lines up, and it's like at worst, it is a massive failure on the government's part.
I mean, we could start out by saying which ones are a conspiracy theory and which ones are true, like unequivocally true.
Oh yeah, like regarding the event. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Man. Yeah. Because I did 3 podcasts. So like, there's probably 6 hours worth of content, and then watched one documentary on Netflix over it. So
what's the topic?
What happened with the Oklahoma City bombing? So essentially, what I think we should do, and I think we'll throw out a topic, and then we'll just say like the base, like uncontroversial thing about what we're discussing.
Okay.
So if I say like 9/11, it's like, well, that was Osama bin Laden that blew it up, and
right.
That's what we agree upon. So we invaded Iraq, you know. So the basic narrative.
Okay.
The mainstream narrative, or what our thoughts is the mainstream narrative. So we'll start this off, and I'll say. So what comes to mind? Oklahoma City bombing. Just give me some base facts that are out there.
Well, you got McVeigh, Ryder truck, pulled right up to the front. It's trying to. It's hard not to. It's got to go with the facts. Okay, so he pulls up to the front. Blows up the building.
Ryder truck full of what?
It was fertilizer.
Okay.
Ammonium nitrate.
Yeah. So I pulled up the front, blew it up. I mean, that's kind of the basic gist of it. I mean, as far as where where all this came from, I mean, the attempt that he made is a similar attempt that they made on the World Trade Center the first time, with a medium-sized moving van.
And what building was it?
It was the Frank Murrow Federal Building in Oklahoma City.
Okay.
Murrah Federal Building.
Murrah.
Well, it's funny listening to a whole bunch of Okies try to pronounce that. Like,
Yeah.
Murrah.
It's Murrell, right, Jamie, or Murrell?
I think it's Murrah. Murrah.
Murrah. Yeah, that sounds right.
Yeah, that because I think that was the funny thing is like all the high quality, high class Tulsa news people were like in the Murrah building. Like that you don't get more south than they got during that time. And so
it's one of those things where it's like, is it Morrell? Is it Murrah? Is it just say it in Okie and just be like, Meh. Frank Meh building.
Meh building. All right.
All right. So those are the facts.
Yeah.
So
those are the facts.
All right.
The agreed upon facts, right?
All right. So before we go any further, hang on 1 second.
Ooh, I like this.
All right, game on. Let's go.
I like this. I need to. Sorry, guys. I need to leave my. That way I can. I like this. This is good.
Oh, Jody, it looks so good on YouTube, by the way.
Yeah, that's great.
Okay, so I can't wait for someone to be cruising through YouTube and they come upon this, and then this is Jody right now is sitting here with his foil hat on. But love it, Jamie. When you get done, you're gonna have to look at the thumbnail. It's pretty.
We whipped it up in
it was
like
about a 2 minute like
3
like
minutes.
whip up thing, but yeah, it was.
All right, I'll check it out.
All right, so Jamie, so obviously, part of the facts were is that he did this in retaliation to the Waco ATF clusterfuck, if you will.
Which
the
this is
French Civilian compound.
Yeah. So I think that was the official narrative after they found out. So, I remembered this because I was watching that documentary and it was talking about did all the news clips where they were like trying to pin it on the Middle East.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They're like, yeah, it's totally Middle Eastern. Yeah, totally got Saddam now, that son of a bitch. Yeah, it's Middle Eastern. We're looking for brown people, And then, like, how that shifted. And this all happened within, like, 2 or 3 days.
Yep.
Like,
back when
where
news
they went
was
with
slow.
they went with the narrative for 2 or 3 days. Like, they had... And then, like... Then it was like, oh, well, nope, it's not brown people. It's actually, we're looking for white people.
Well, he was he was found pretty quick
can,
afterwards, wasn't he?
What's that?
He was found. McVeigh was found pretty quick afterwards.
He hung out in prison for a few days. Like he got pulled over for all. Like so, he got pulled over for a license plate. He didn't have a license plate, so he got pulled over for that. The cop, I guess he was being searched. The cop, he said something smart, like, when the cop felt his gun, he goes, "It's loaded too." Like something like that. He said something like that to the cop, and the cop, the cop then books him and throws him into jail, and he sits in jail, and they didn't know who he was until they saw it on the news, essentially. They're like, oh, hey, yeah, we got this guy. So he sits in jail for like 3 to 5 days.
Wasn't he in Kansas or something like that?
No, he was, I don't know, some small town in Oklahoma.
Oh, really? I didn't realize he was still in Oklahoma.
No,
'Cause I thought it was
it's,
like up 35, like in Kansas or something.
no, up 35 in Oklahoma. He got busted by some small town cop.
That's funny.
He still brags about it to this day.
Oh man, that dude's the police chief of half of Oklahoma right now. I bet he's climbed the ladder.
He might be running the ATF or the FBI in freaking
Yeah, right.
It's actually called the what was it called, the what was Oklahoma's OSBI or something like that? Yeah, OSBI.
Yeah.
There you go.
I don't know.
So Jamie, what are some of the theories, the conspiratorial theories that let's the next segment, let's throw out some of the conspiracy theories that surround this and what could or could not have actually occurred.
Okay, well, so the main conspiracy part, because the anniversary was 3 days ago. So it was 30 years, 30-year anniversary. So it's so hard. So I guess a conspiracy is that the ATF, the FBI, and possibly a foreign intelligence source were operating out of an area called Elohim City, which is essentially like a Waco type scenario, but a smaller area, and that's in northeastern Oklahoma. So it's almost like the Arkansas line.
Okay.
All right, so there were operations going on there, and a bunch of informants from different agencies were operating in that area, and that supposedly is where the attack was planned in this Elohim City.
And they missed it by an hour and a half or hour and 45 minutes?
Yeah, about like 2 hours.
They were, are you talking about when they sent the bomb squad in the morning, overnight?
No, I just mean like, so, okay, hang on. Just a little bit of clarification. So you're saying that the Oklahoma City bombing was supposed to happen somewhere else?
No, it was just planned. It was just, like, that's where it was planned. That's where
Okay, so they planned it in
organized
northeast Oklahoma and said...
in this Elohim City.
Okay. Now...
And there's a ATF source. I don't have the name. Elohim City and Adair.
I know where Adair is.
Yep.
Yeah. Adair County. Right?
It may actually be a county, but Adair's a city. Yeah.
Yeah. That's 75-ish.
Yeah. So, okay. So they planned it in this city in northeast Oklahoma, in Adair.
Yep.
So you said the ATF, you said FBI, and then...
There was a foreign intelligence official
Is there a
involved.
theory? Is there a theory of what country that foreign intelligence agent represented?
Well, he was from the UK, but I think he was on loan.
Okay.
Because he was a counterintelligence, counter-surveillance.
Now, one of the theories that I've heard over the years was that an infamous Clinton had documentation in this building.
Out of everything I've listened to in the past few days, that wasn't really mentioned. But yeah, that is a theory that the Clintons had documents related to Watergate there in the office. Now there's some validity of, like, the question that kind of breaks that one up is why they would have the documents there.
Well,
right?
And I'm gonna kind of spread something out here, like to And again, like, I haven't done enough research on this. This is just from what I've gathered living close to this, throughout the years. Is one of the things that they did not allow anyone to do is to get in the building and remove any documents. They just imploded the building, took everything away, and that was that. Which,
yeah, there was some of that. They also, so during the, the building fell down on people. So when that happens, there's an effort to go save people, right?
Right.
Because it just pancaked one after the other, boom, 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 boom,
Right.
boom, boom. And so there was, it's 9 floors. All 9 floors are just chilling. All right. So they're going and rescuing people out of this building, and they called in. There was one at least confirmed that they had to stop searching and back off until the bomb squad could go in and get a Laws rocket, basically an anti-tank round that they thought was live. The ATF said it was a training aid, and it was going to be used in a arms deal.
Like left at the scene?
It was left in the because the
it was on
ATF's
someone's
office,
desk, and then
Well, it looks like it's in like a storage closet, like they had it in a storage closet,
like an evidence locker or something.
Yeah, I mean,
Yeah.
I haven't been around a lot of law rockets, but I do kind of know what a facility that would be required to keep this type of ammunition would look like.
Yeah, they said it was inert. The thing was inert. Don't worry. And it's like, but we got it out of there super fast, and nobody asked any questions from there.
Gotcha.
So,
so Jody,
and then there could have been some document retrieval during that.
Yeah, or document disposal.
Yeah.
Jody, what are some of the theories that you've heard that surround this? And I have an updated theory once we get through with this, because I've been back to the federal building.
Yeah.
A little over about 2 years ago, and I discovered something that I did not know was there before. But let's go, Jody, with your conspiracy theories on the Oklahoma City bombing.
All right, so Timothy McVeigh may or may not have been associated with the sovereign citizens was something that I got into about it a while back when it was referenced in essentially explaining the sovereign citizen background. And
so explain to somebody what a sovereign citizen is.
so sovereign citizen are people that essentially believe that at some point the government turned into a corporation and you don't have to obey the corporation's laws. And so they have tweaked and twisted a series of documents from the Constitution to the Magna Carta and said essentially these are the rules that we are to live by. And so they take and kind of pick and choose from these documents, and they essentially can travel throughout the United States, and they don't have to have a driver's license, they don't have to have insurance, they don't have to have registration. That is their mindset, is that because they do not belong to a country, because the United States is now a corporation, not a country, they believe they don't have to follow municipal and state laws.
Gotcha. Okay. So now I'm sorry. Now go on through your theory.
But essentially this was in retaliation because what entity was in that building?
Well, it was the FBI build. It was an FBI building.
Yeah. So the FBI was in retaliation for possibly some other sovereign citizen events that had happened. But that's essentially the angle that I saw on it that kind of triggered even that this was a conspiracy. So half of what we're talking about right now is news to me at this point.
And this is all, everything I've mentioned is documented. It's just like we're not really going to bring it up or talk about it. But I mean, there's eyewitnesses that saw. So they brought the bomb squad in the middle of the night prior to it parking. And the bomb squad left 30 minutes before the bomb exploded.
And this is OKCPD bomb squad?
Yeah.
Not like a random, hey, FBI.
I would assume if it's a federal building, they would probably want federal officers, right?
Right.
Yeah.
And they do have the federal.
Yeah, it could have been a joint. It could have been a joint exercise.
Yeah.
It could have been, just because, the feds will do that sometimes. They will.
Yep.
But then they left. Like, there were eyewitnesses that watched them walk down the alleyway, and then the truck pulls up like 15 minutes later. So.
Gotcha.
That could also lead to some conspiracies. Did the bomb squad actually plant bombs?
Okay, and then
I hadn't heard that before, but yeah, I mean,
it's reasonable to go there. The point, that's the crazy thing, is you've been lied. There's so much you've been lied to about a lot worse, and this is like, oh yeah, that's more plausible than whatever they were telling us at the time.
Whatever the truth is.
Yeah.
Not the truth, what the story was.
Yeah. I mean, and I could name 5 examples from the last 20 years that it's like, oh yeah, this is going on. Oh, the news, that can't be right. That's not right. Then you find out 3 years later, it's like, oh, yeah, I was right all along.
Yeah.
Whoopsie.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, I don't know, Jamie, do you have anything to add to this as far as any conspiracies or?
Yeah, man, I guess my book report really is that I went in thinking this was like a hardcore conspiracy, and it's not. I'm gonna say there's a lot of discrepancies that need to be addressed.
Okay. So, you think that it's not necessarily a conspiracy, there's a lot of issues that lead to be factual that are part of this, that some truth needs to come out.
Yeah, I mean, because there's another string on this. So there was John Doe number 2, okay? John Doe number 2 was a darker, larger, like, bulkier guy compared to Timothy McVeigh, because he was a walking beanpole. But the larger guy, dark skin, had a tattoo that was John Doe number 2. And they never found that guy, but they did find somebody matching his description.
Let me guess.
Go ahead.
He wore an FBI badge.
No.
No!
I haven't heard that one.
Oh.
No.
Okay.
He didn't have an FBI badge. No, but this guy committed suicide and has, like, torture marks all over his body. And unlucky for the federal government, his brother is a lawyer out here in Utah, and I mean in the Bahamas where I'm at, and he's in Utah. That's dug up all this work, and if you want to go see that, it's Kenneth Trinidad .com, something like that.
So,
and then Department of Justice, if you want to look at the review. But it was ruled a suicide, but he had torture marks all over his body, and he was beat to a pulp.
So, we know about Timothy McVeigh. How does Terry Nichols fall in all this?
Terry Nichols so there were 3 guys that they arrested. One guy pled out and got 10 years. Terry Nichols got obviously lots of years. I think he's got a few life sentences. So he's dying in jail. Obviously Timothy McVeigh was executed in 2006. Yeah, 2005, 2006, somewhere in between there. So Terry Nichols essentially was assisted in the prep and the setup and all that. How he was tied to it through they found him through some documentation through the rental and the hotel, and tracked Terry Nichols back to Michigan, I think. So, but yeah, he was essentially one of the planners. And then the third guy that no one talks about, really bad with names. Okay, see. Terry Nichols, Michael Fortier.
There you go.
I remember,
yeah, okay, I've heard that name.
I remember that
Yeah.
name coming up at one point.
Yeah, and he is on the lam. He's got witness protection right now.
Interesting.
Gotcha.
Very interesting.
So did sovereign citizen come up at all in your research?
Yes, it came up once, but it was also referenced to they called it they've been calling stuff neo-Nazi so much. I'm just like really wondering
It's just
what
a
they
blanket
mean. But
statement now. Yeah.
yeah, apparently this was like ultra neo-Nazi the way she described it. So it was it wasn't a militia. They tried to use the word militia, if you remember that.
Yeah.
Because that's why most of our generation is like, oh yeah, ew, militia.
Militia
Ew.
is bad.
Oh, that's just a bunch of racists. And it's like, no.
That's a clan. A clan is racist.
Yeah, I mean, it's essentially like, I don't know. So anyways, they're neo-Nazis, and that's why, like, but here's my theory on the whole thing. The federal government was involved. It was similar to, like, the Gretchen Whitmer thing, where they had multiple informants in on the organization.
Oh, yeah.
And they either let it get away from them, because I'm pretty sure there's more people involved in the bomb manufacturing. And why they never went, because it was a sophisticated device, a very large sophisticated device. And those three, even though they were all in the army together, I highly doubt they were building the type of explosive it was, because it was essentially a giant shape charge.
Yep. And none
And
of them
that's why it
had
had,
EOD
like-
experience or anything of that nature.
No.
They were probably like helicopter mechanics or something.
Timothy McVeigh. Just so we don't misspeak. But yeah, I mean, he was a dorky kid, you know, basic. Much of his read.
Oh, so he was comms.
Yeah. McVeigh was a top scoring gunner on a Bradley.
Top scoring.
He was
gunner.
a Bradley gunner.
Okay.
So yeah, bomb manufacturer.
Yeah.
Those are usually the smartest guys.
Yeah.
Are the Bradley gunners.
Freaking Bradley gunners,
Yeah.
man. He got a 33 on his ASVAB.
Yeah, I mean,
And
if
your name's
flash
30.
red, if flash red, you hit shoot.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't. He aspired to join the special forces.
Interesting.
I mean, some of the stories he was telling made it sound like he's borderline.
Crazy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like he decapitated an Iraqi soldier with cannon fire from 1,100 yards away.
Well, I mean, I don't know what the effective range of one of those things
That's really close for a Bradley. He took a Bradley to the face. To the face. But
So-
seriously, this why are you even talking about it? I guess he didn't shy away from the limelight for those 10 years he was in prison.
So one of the things I was just looking at while we're going through this, and the building was torn down 3 months after the bombing.
Okay.
I mean, I don't know. What do you consider like a normal amount of time to tear down a building?
We can talk about the Twin Towers same day.
Yes, I mean those went from up to on the ground.
That's where Amazon got their idea from. Let's do same day delivery to the ground.
I mean, I don't know what.
Too soon? Too soon, guys? Too soon?
Know where to go with that. Anyway, I don't know like what a reasonable amount of time. I mean, I know that was probably a huge inconvenience for downtown Oklahoma City to have a building that was just kind of
Half there.
out in the middle of the street and stuff like that. But like, I don't know. Part of me thinks, okay, you can kind of clean up some of it, leave some of it, and I'm not sure what you're leaving it for. I mean, if they finish the investigation or whatever, then at that point you got to talk about doing all that. So the one thing that, and I've been to the site about 2 or 3 times since to see the memorial and stuff like that. Mm-hmm. The last time I went, I saw something I'd never seen before. Do you know that? You guys know what the memorial looks like, right? Yep. You have a reflection pond that goes down the center. They have 2 walls that are preserved from either side of the building.
Yep.
It's supposed to be the time passed between.
Yep.
You know there's a facility under that?
Like
No.
like a real facility or like a facility?
So, when I moved back to Oklahoma City, for that 18 months, when I was staying downtown in the hotel before I got my apartment, I decided I was going to go downstairs. I got a cup of coffee and I said, I'm going to walk over to the Oklahoma City bombing memorial and just revisit it because I had remembered the last time I wasn't there, they had opened it, but it wasn't quite finished. And so I was like, I'm going to go see the tree that's still there, that, all that stuff, and see it as a finished product. I'm walking down the street, and there's a federal building right next door that was there before that's still being used. And I walk down the street, and they have a, federal cop that's right there. And, I said hi to him as I walked by.
I used to be a cop.
I'll leave it alone, man. I'll leave it alone this time.
I walked through the whole thing, and on my way out, I was walking on the sidewalk, and I don't know how I've never seen this before, but there's a driveway that goes down underneath the building, or where the building used to be, and a car was coming up or down. I don't remember which direction it was coming, so I walk over to the cop that's standing there, and I said, how's your morning going, this, that, and the other. I said, what's underneath there? And he goes, it's a parking lot. You have a parking lot behind you, and I just thought to myself, I can interrogate this guy all I want. If he knows what's down there, he's not saying nothing. But it was
or
kind of
that's
bizarre.
what he was being told. He was being told it was a parking lot.
And maybe he was, and maybe it is. But it seems
like, oh, good, I parked my car down there. I'll just help myself.
Can you hit the clicker for me so I can go down there and get it? Because there's a speed door that you go down, and the door comes up and shuts right behind you as you drive through. And so it's not like a door that stays open, car pulls out, stays open. You can look down there and kind of see down like you're looking underneath an arena or something like that. And my thought process was, if this was a real, like, why would they preserve this parking garage underneath the building even after all this happened?
So that wasn't the question I was thinking. My question was, can you fit a Ryder truck down there in that parking garage?
I mean, probably. But
You're welcome, Jamie.
Oh, God. Move, move.
Woo!
I just thought that was weird. Thank you, Jody, for all that.
I got you.
So, I could see that. I could see where they basically are like, well, good luck blowing us up underground, and then like turning that into, you know, maybe that's like the new ATF office, because they were afraid they weren't going to be able to stop killing people, so they knew they had to move their office underground.
It was
killing
just,
people's dogs and stuff.
It was just really weird. I'm trying to see if I can. And I've never thought of this before. I was like, let me see if I can see it from Google Maps or something, because that'll tell you legit if it's.
Is it legit? I mean, I can go on right now and put a tag on there for a parking structure.
Yeah, that's what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna call it Breezy's. Spooks are us. John E. Law Parking.
Yeah, you can see it.
What, Breezy's Parking in downtown OKC?
Let's see if I can.
Or they turned it into like a black site.
Right.
Because it's like right in the middle of the country.
Yeah.
But I don't think they would have like the entrance legit right there.
No, not right there and obvious, yeah.
It believe it or not, like you see it here, and because we're looking for it, like it looks like, oh, that's an obvious place, but like actually being there, and and like I'm sure people walk by it every day and don't even see this, but like I just thought that was really weird. That why would you keep that parking garage? Like, what? It's Oklahoma City. It's not Manhattan. And the fact that there's literally a secure parking garage on the other side of the street there. So I don't know.
You got anything else for it, Jamie?
I don't. I mean, it's we could probably spend hours.
Yeah.
Talking
like an entire episode talking about it.
Well, yeah, and like I didn't write any notes down. I probably should have. I should have had some order to this, but I've really just been going off my memory here. And I mean, it's a lot of information. So,
yeah.
It's definitely something worth revisiting, I think. But yeah, that's a good one.
Jamie, what do you have? Jody, what do you got?
John Doe 2 is a big one where they, all of a sudden everybody saw it and then nobody saw it, and they never went and found anybody.
Or released.
Well, they found somebody, but it was the wrong guy at the U.S.-Mexico border.
Gotcha.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. So.
He's got a full hat on.
Hi, Ma.
You can watch this from your phone if you want. We're live.
Oh, you are?
Yeah. Jody, what do you have as far as conspiracies?
Well, we started talking about
both?
underground, and so my brain started going. I was like, "Hey, perfect segue for what mine is." All right, so mine, and this is something I knew a little bit about, but then, of course, as with any conspiracy, you start going down this rabbit hole of people doing all these documentaries or videos or writing papers on it, and it just kind of threw me down a way dark hole about this thing. So what I'm talking about is the Denver International Airport, which extremely interesting. So we start off with the facts, right? So it was built in February. Well, it wasn't built in February. It was supposed to be finished February 28th, 1995. So first part of the... Well, let's do facts. Denver already has another airport. Okay?
Is that airport still active?
Ooh, good question, but I'm pretty certain it is. If one of y'all wants to look it up while I'm giving...
I've got it.
And that was just when you said that, I'm processing through this.
Yep. So
because I didn't know that the other one was. I heard that the other one wasn't very old, like when they built the new one.
Yeah.
But I didn't know that if the old one was still active or not.
All right, so let's start there. Now, the cost for this airport was $4.8 billion. So keep in mind, you've got a city building another airport with one already in existence for $4.8 billion. That was twice what it was supposed to cost. Okay, so we'll start there. It covers a 53 square mile area. At the time that it was built, it was the largest airport in the United States, land-wise. And it's not just like a little bit bigger, it was twice as big as the next closest airport.
So how much did it cost to build that airport?
$4.8 billion with a B.
Okay, and I want to put this in context because the cost that it cost for them to build. Now, there was inflation and all that good stuff, but Dallas-Fort Worth Airport, which is one of the largest airports in the United States, it cost them $875 million.
Million.
What year?
It was built. It's approximate equivalation now of $5.5 billion. How much did it?
4.8 for Denver in 1995.
Okay. Okay, so that's probably changed as well. So they built DFW in 1974. So I don't know what the. Anyway, okay, and I'm trying to compare this as we go.
So they laid 5,300 miles of fiber optic network throughout the airport. Let's put that into perspective. 5,300. That goes from New York to LA and back, and I believe it's back again, or at least starts going back. So you're talking 3 lengths of the United States of fiber optic cabling put into this place. It was built with a complex series of tunnels. That's also a fact. 6 stories down into the ground and up above the surface. Okay, so that's a fact. There's more to that, which we'll get to here in a little bit. The contract... What's that?
I'm sorry, let me stop you. It's 12 stories in total?
No, 6 stories total.
Okay.
So subterranean, and I think it goes like 2 stories above the ground.
Okay, gotcha. Yep.
Okay.
Okay. So the other thing is during the building of it, they had contractors, they fired contractors, rehired new contractors, and all the companies did different portions of it, so they didn't know what the other contractors were doing. So that's a fact. Runway, and Jamie, you could probably understand this. Runway 16R and 34L are the longest runways in the country. They are almost 3 miles long, and that is overkill for a commercial airport.
Yeah.
So what could land there? Like, what would you need a 3 mile
space shuttle?
And that was my first thought, was space shuttle, but You could literally take off multiple C-130s in tandem at the same time from this airport and still have runway to give.
Or land.
Or land. Okay?
Because what else is close to that area?
Cheyenne Mountain,
Yep. What is Cheyenne Mountain?
NORAD.
Okay. So I was going to get into that. Perfect execution. Appreciate that.
You're welcome.
Stapleton was the other airport. I got that part down.
Okay. Yeah, there's a ton. I was looking at it. There's
Stapleton was the original.
Is that one still open?
That's the one I'm not sure of. It I didn't look into whether or not it was still open.
Okay.
Yeah, I got Denver Regional. No, doesn't look like it.
All right.
It's not on the chart. Yeah, Rocky Mountain Metro.
All right. So
Nothing.
The next part is this happened, but what actually happened with these buildings, we don't know. So originally, when they were moving the earth for this airport, they built 5 6-story buildings. Well, at least 6-story buildings in the area where they were building the airport. Now, it's up in the air whether or not they just covered them up. So that's where it started getting into the conspiracy part of it. Or did they demolish them and no one noticed or reported them being demolished? Okay?
I would imagine. So they built them 6 feet above the ground and then they just disappeared?
Yes.
Oh, so do the tops look a lot like the airport?
I don't know. So
I don't know. That's weird. If you're building, maybe they're building it above ground and moving it underground. Sorry, I'm asking.
No, yeah, that's kind of the same line of thought that I had because no one had an exact answer. But what the answer that was given is that they did use 110 million cubic yards of earth to essentially lay the ground level after they had everything subterranean built. So that is a metric shit ton. Got it. All right.
And I'm gonna call another timeout here.
Yep.
Jamie, how long is a typical air runway? Like for large aircraft, 747s. I don't know, fucking.
I would say a mile and a half.
Because the reason why I say that is because Stapleton Airport, which is the predecessor, had a runway that was 12,000 foot.
Yeah, so this one's
which is 2.25 miles, give or take.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean that's. Yeah, I would say 2.2 miles, but I mean to land a 777, you need 8,800 feet.
Okay.
So that's what they require, and that's
okay.
Well, some of the larger aircraft, right?
Yeah.
12,000. You could probably land C5s. Aren't C5s bigger than 777s?
Yeah, they're pretty massive.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The thing about C5s is I don't think they take a whole lot of runway because they literally just break their asses.
Let me put it into perspective. Is there's a regional airport in Texas that is capable of landing C5s.
Okay.
Well, I was going to say Kelly Air Force Base houses C5s,
Yeah.
and I don't know. I mean, I'm looking up right now to see how long the runway is there.
Okay. So while you're doing that,
okay, 11.5 is the length of the runway at Kelly.
okay. So let's go into. But is Kelly a military installation or is it a commercial airport?
It's just a military installation.
Okay, so we're talking. Think in terms of commercial airports.
Okay.
All right. So the next thing is we all know that they build runways in different directions because of wind and
Prevailing winds.
correct.
Right.
So, but it's oddly shaped in the form of a swastika.
And yeah, it definitely is. They've got they definitely have four going north and south direct, and then they've got two that are offset going east and west.
Almost exactly east and west and north and south.
Oh yeah, it is. I mean, adjusting for declination, yeah,
Yeah.
it map north and south like
Yes.
on the money.
Yes.
Okay. Yeah, I forgot about that part of it, but yeah. Wasn't another thing about this airport? It was literally like way, 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 way out in the middle of nowhere.
It was outside of the. I think it was the original, outside of the original city limits. But, I mean, look at DFW. It's not. It's not in Dallas or Fort Worth. Was it technically Irving or is it Grapevine? I know it's like
It's in between Grapevine and Irving, but,
Yeah.
but in that defense, there was an airport there before that they built it on top of.
yeah.
So
I sent the image to the chat.
Okay. So the next thing that's also a fact is out front they had a statue of a horse that is up on its hind legs.
yeah, the blue one, right?
It's not blue, unless they changed the colors on it recently. I say recently, in the last 10 years. What color? What color is it?
White.
It's a white horse. Let's talk about the white horse. The eyes and the veins on this thing, they light up red. Now, we could go down that whole rabbit hole that it's RGB or whatever and it can change colors, but one of the initial colors was red
For the Broncos.
for the Broncos.
Which are orange, right?
Orange.
Oh.
Yeah. Orange and blue. Not red.
Now,
What are you getting at, Jody? What's your accusation here?
I'm
so
moving
the
this, man.
picture of the Bronco that I can see here has the red eyes, but it's painted blue. Maybe they painted it because of all the conspiracy theories.
Yeah.
I don't know. But what's the white Bronco? What we talking about? O.J. Simpson.
So so if we're going tinfoil hat on this, there was a theory that it signified one of the four horsemen for the apocalypse.
Okay.
So inside, I believe it's at the baggage claim. I probably should have wrote that part down, but there's a mural that depicts children in coffins, a forest fire, a child holding a Mayan tablet depicting the end of the world, references to Nazi Germany. There's a sword that's coming down on essentially a dove. A mother cradling a dead child, children from every culture in the world with flags and weapons, essentially converging on a German boy in German attire in the middle.
Good.
I'm looking at the I'm looking at the artwork and thinking this might be a little bit too graphic.
It's graphic.
Now, from what I understand, wasn't there some there actually was some, and this is what they're saying, and I'm just kind of going.
Yeah.
It had something to do with the Holocaust, actually. That was some of what they were representing here, the artwork, right? Which, why Denver, I don't know. But,
Why Denver and why an international airport for this art piece?
yeah.
Okay, so let's go a little bit further into this. So
But there's multiple pieces that are outlandish. It's not just the one.
yeah,
Yeah, no,
So they
yeah.
can't just be like, oh, it was just a random art piece. Like, it doesn't matter that they all have the same theme.
Don't get me
Yeah.
started on
Realize
these
that.
on these gargoyles coming out of suitcases. Like,
Yeah.
why are we putting gargoyles in an airport?
I don't know when the last time you guys have been there was, but I know the last time I was at Denver, which would have been probably a year ago. They it had like, please excuse our dust. The lizard people are renovating or something like that.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, so they have those signs all over. So, I mean,
They
just,
fully
I guess-
embraced it.
Yeah.
So
So there might be one of those things is that, like, it was totally fine and normal, and then the conspiracy theorists got a hold and gave them the idea to do all this.
So the mural was beforehand. The lizard people thing was dadgum. This hat is making my headphones fall off now.
I imagine it's making your head sweat too.
I'm cooking. My brain's cooking right now. So some of the stuff that I saw essentially was the people at the airport, the mayor, and all those people. They were essentially firing back at all these conspiracy theories about Denver International, essentially saying that, nah, it's a joke, haha, we'll play along with these conspiracy theories. So that's the lizard people thing. Apparently there's a giant, I think it's a lizard person, that talks to you and like essentially throws conspiracy jokes at you while you're in the airport.
Ah.
Like they're hiding in plain sight now.
Yes, it's like, hey, we've been called out. Now we got to kind of, haha, yeah, right, you guys are crazy type thing. We'll go that route with it. So that's where essentially the Nazi stuff kind of stops, and it transitions into Illuminati, Freemasons, and goes down that wormhole. So how the Nazis and the Illuminati and the Freemasons are all like wound together. Not quite sure on that one, but the dedication plaque that's in the baggage area has the Freemason symbol and stuff on it, and supposedly it's a time capsule. But there's other things that have been told that, hey, once that's open, that's releasing the devil on earth type thing to start the end times. And that was the date on that was sometime in March 1990. March 19th, because the project was delayed by almost just over a year being finished. The airport. So when the airport actually opened up, it was March 19th, February 1995, but it was supposed to be ready in March of 94.
So when's this thing pop open?
There's no time, but I'm sure that little tablet with the Mayan calendars can tell us. Yeah. So, and then on this plaque is the New World Airport Commission was labeled on this dedication plaque. And the funny thing is if you look it up, it doesn't exist. So, but after further research, this is where I'll take my tinfoil hat off, and I guess it did exist at that time, and then they came out and said, hey, maybe this was a bad choice of name. Whatever. However you want to slice that pie.
What's it called? New World what?
New World Airport Commission.
So,
So, to kind of go a little bit further, there's lots of little tales throughout the airport to signify New World Order type stuff. The Freemasons, the All-Seeing Eye, even the Shriners have been linked to this because of the sword that I was talking about earlier.
Yeah.
It was killing the dove in that painting was to signify essentially them not ever living for peace. And then, of course, you got the gargoyles coming out of the
Swanson, Samsonite.
Samsonite. See, I was way off. The suitcases that were up in the area, and there's just some really strange characters of these gargoyles that hint towards end of times, stuff like that. So this part I should have written this part down. Okay, so when Obama was president, we had, I think it was Planet X that came close to Earth and was supposed to collide with Earth, right?
Yeah. I remember something vaguely about it, yeah.
Vaguely about it. Well, you have bunkers on the East Coast for the president. You have a bunker on the West Coast for the president, but there hasn't really been a disclosure for a bunker in the middle of the country. President Obama was supposedly flown into Denver Airport during the time of this Planet X crossing the path with Earth.
Gotcha.
So a lot of the conspiracy goes into that essentially there's layers underground. There's a big storage of food and stuff like that for the end times underneath this airport, and that goes back to those buildings and how subterranean this airport goes. That there is quite possibly a fallout shelter for select society, which would be Freemasons, your Shriners, your government officials, and stuff like that.
So, essentially all this... excuse me. So all this was done with taxpayer funding?
Yeah, at least at a bare minimum, Coloradans funding.
I
would imagine at that cost, there's no way that state can afford that amount of money.
You know what's funny is that's probably about the time Colorado started turning from red to purple to blue as well.
Let's say that's pretty accurate.
Yeah.
So, and I'm pretty ignorant when it comes to airports. Is there a reason why you would go 3 stories down?
No, not unless like you were limited on out. Like, because I don't know. I've seen Toy Story 2, and I know how the baggage carousel works. Like,
well,
it's just
it's
just all up and down and all around.
Just like,
so.
yeah,
I've also been to O'Hare and ridden those buses where they've got luggage just thrown everywhere down there. But through the winding roads at O'Hare, that was one of the nastiest, it seemed very unorganized at O'Hare when you take that little bus out to the other terminals to catch your connecting flights.
Yeah, I'm trying to think of what you would need 3 stories down for at an airport, you know?
The only thing I could think of is, sometimes international airports have a whole nother level for, like, customs.
Yeah.
Yep.
So, where some airports, like DFW, has a whole separate terminal for all that.
Right.
So, that could be something, but you wouldn't.
But you got 3 stories above, and one of those floors could easily work for that. And I'm not really questioning the 3 stories up because you can do a lot of different things with 3 stories.
But
also,
down.
You're gonna dig 3 stories down, and the top of this airport looks like a circus tent. Like, it kind of feels like they spent all their money like on other things and said, well, let's just make a circus tent on the top because it'll save us money for a roof or whatever it is, you know, or whatever that case may be. I've seen plenty of malls that did that.
Yep.
I feel like the snow.
Yeah, I mean, I
don't
think
know.
like the whole thing that happened at was it Bank One Field in Minnesota,
Hmm.
where
No,
the
but it was the one before Bank One, not their new one, their old one.
cannot think of the name of it.
No, it's kind of like the Cowboys stadium. It had that same
Yeah, like
the one in
well, it had like an
Irving.
inflatable like. I mean, it was
Yeah, it
pretty
was
much an
supposed to.
open air
Yeah,
stadium that had like an inflatable roof or whatever. And
yeah.
what else do we have on Denver's airport?
That's all I really got. I didn't want to. I mean, you can literally go down the rabbit holes. I was trying to stay as straight as I could on this without going down the rabbit holes of uh, uh, those 5 buildings might have actually been nuclear silos that we can launch nukes from. Um, they were, yeah. So,
As if we don't have enough silos as it is. I mean,
well, they would be unknown essentially to everybody, so they couldn't be because everyone knows about essentially the locations of where we keep them.
yeah,
Yeah.
some of them.
I would say like, and that was kind of the perfect time to be doing all that, wouldn't it?
Yep.
And it's right around the fall of the Soviet Union and their Intel machines completely,
Yeah.
just not doing anything. Meanwhile, they've got the largest nuclear stockpile, so why wouldn't you slip a few in while they're distracted?
While Sputnik was down.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean that makes sense. Okay, so
But
my conspiracy theory is a little bit more general than Jamie's and Jody's, um, and mine's a little bit more delicate than Jamie's and Jody's because obviously, I mean, bad things happen at the Oklahoma City bombing. I hope that nothing bad has ever happened at the Denver airport as of now. But so my
or ever.
or ever, yeah. Yeah, yeah, that could have gone bad. FBI just starts kicking in the door. Like
We gotta.
get swatted.
Nah, they blow up the neighbor's house first.
He did. So, um, so, um, mine has to do with like mass shootings in general,
Okay.
and that includes school shootings, like nightclub shootings. There was that nightclub that I can think of in Thousand Oaks, California. The country music festival in Las Vegas, and my conspiracy does not go along the same lines as a handful of others. Like Alex Jones was sued to hell and back for the Sandy Hook conspiracy, and this is kind of messed up, man. Like this guy literally has a conspiracy theory or that or the other. They allegedly debunked it, and then they sued this guy for $1 billion because he has a theory. And I mean, I think that we live in a day and age where it should be okay to question what you're told. Now, I don't know. Alex Jones is kind of a loose cannon, so I'm not sure exactly where he took it to where people thought that $1 billion needs to be what they need to sue this guy for. I don't know. But my thought process is when it comes to these mass shootings is that I feel like they are. I'm not saying that they didn't occur. I'm just saying that they were coerced by somebody else, other than the guy who took the fall, the guy who, did the shooting, the guy who, I mean, and I use an example, right? And I'm going to use the Vegas Country Music Festival shooting that they claim to have debunked that that nothing was nefarious here outside of what actually they told us happened. But who told us that nothing nefarious went on? And that's the people that I think could potentially be involved in this. I mean, you have a millionaire accountant that decides he's going to fly off the hinge. He's going to send his wife out of the country, and he's going to fly off the hinge and use, a weapon that we, majority of people have never heard of with the bump stock. And he's going to camp himself up, and I don't have my notes on, with me at the moment. He's going to camp himself up. He's going to shoot down into the festival grounds there in Las Vegas.
Hundreds of pounds of weapons and ammunition. Hundreds of pounds. And he just moved it with a cart.
With a bell cart.
It's good. Yeah, it's good for your luggage. He moved all of it with a cart.
Yeah. I just have a hard time believing that. And then when the FBI or the CIA or the ATF, which is the ATF even an organization anymore? You don't ever see them anymore.
They still are.
When they tell you when they tell you that we disproved all these conspiracy theories, it's like, you're the one I'm concerned about. You're the one that I think is involved in this. And if you had to ask me, and obviously, I mean, I'm a guy who sitting here doing a podcast on a Tuesday night. I have no background in any of this stuff. But if you had to ask me, I think this guy screwed up along the way. They gave him a marker and said, "You're not going to prison. We're going to call you, and you can't ask any questions, and it's probably going to mess up your life. But you're going to do whatever we ask you to do." And maybe I've watched too many movies. I don't know. But I'm starting. You sit there and say, "Man, you watch too many movies." Man, I'm starting to think some of these movies, like they have the inside track on some stuff, and they put it out there as, a movie that may or may not be factual. But then you sit there and watch that, and you go, I could actually see that happening, and I could actually see that being an issue.
Yeah, like one of my biggest examples is like House of Cards, because I 100% believe all that stuff happens in Washington.
Yep.
Yeah.
It's like, yeah. But I don't know. Like, it doesn't make sense, because the shots fired with a bump stock versus, I don't know, 240 or something like that.
Yep.
Yeah. I mean, and again, I'm not saying none of these things happened. I'm saying that some of the people who are end up being witnesses at the end, there's several occurrences of the same people being witnesses to several of these events.
Oh, I see what you're saying. Yeah.
Yeah. There was a guy, and that was, and I don't remember exactly which two events they were prior to, and then end up getting killed in the Thousand Oaks shooting. And then of course they say, "Oh yeah, this guy was at the Highway 91 festival in Vegas," and then they pull up an interview of that guy, of course, and then you go back to try to find all these interviews, and they're gone.
Yeah.
I
know what you're talking about. That's exactly what Alex Jones was more or less talking about, is crisis actors that are connected to all these events. So, I don't know.
I mean, and you could go as far as the Antifa stuff, like you see people that were at multiple of those events.
The J6.
Yeah. I mean, there's a lot of things that we say that these are conspiracy theories, and I mean, again, it's really difficult to have hard evidence on something that all the evidence disappears. I mean, they start pulling stuff off the thing. Now, I do think.
So here's my question: do you think we see less of it with the USAID happening? Like as the funds get cut, I mean, there might be a spike in some last ditch efforts, but
I think
do you see it going away?
I think that there's going to, like you said, there's going to be a spike as people are trying to get rid of money. that they've got stashed somewhere, and they need to make one more run. And
Money
I think,
and influence, huh?
Yep. But yeah, I do think that will. I do think that is part of the reason why USAID is such. I mean, getting rid of this organization is so imperative because, it's one of those you look at the money that was freely flowing through there, and it was earmarked for one thing, and it was used for something completely different. I mean, Chelsea Clinton got a house and a wedding paid for by USAID. I mean, if they're buying people houses, man, I'm ready. I got one picked out. I mean, it's only $19.5 million. I mean, it's probably cheaper than her house. So if you want to buy someone a house, I'm here. I'm ready.
Yeah.
I may need an Escalade to go with it, but
Yeah, I think the Clinton Foundation was a perfect example of the level it could be taken. All that could be taken to for sure.
Yep.
Okay, so Columbine. Does Columbine roll into this, or is that a separate thing? You think?
I think Columbine was real too. I think Columbine was 100% real, and I think this is where they sat there and thought, man, the reaction that people got after this event, we could duplicate this, and we can try to go after things that are important to people on the right, in this case, because every time there's a mass shooting, what's the first thing that they start saying? Is
the distraction.
We got to take the guns. We got to take the guns. We got to take the guns. But yes, you're right. They are distractions.
Yeah.
They are distractions from something else. But I think that I think Columbine, because Columbine was really the first major, happening of anything like this. And I think that one was real. I think that one was 100% real. What I mean by real is that there was no outside influence. And maybe I'm being naive. Maybe there was outside influence to that one.
Yeah.
And,
it was
that was
of the
like...
Matrix. It was because of the movie.
Yeah.
That's another topic there, but yeah.
And I think one of the most successful things with kind of derailing conspiracy theories is it's not the actual digging into things. It's when there's people that come out and just go way out of left field to almost ruin poison the whole pond,
right?
If you will. So some parts of a conspiracy are like, yes, that's true, and then it's like, yeah, and we filmed the moon landing underground, or there's aliens on the moon, or I don't know. All these are pretty probable. You know what I mean, though? They throw out the crazy stuff.
Well, it's funny because
it was Bill Clinton flying one of the planes on 9/11 there.
Right. Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, if you look at the level of top conspiracy, because I looked up top conspiracy theories, right? And you look at some of them, you go, because I'm going to read some of these to you because I think that Jamie, you hit the nail on the head. So, Popular Mechanics has and I'm not sure. This is actually as of 2025, so this is pretty recent. When I first read it, I thought it was old, right? So, we'll start at number 30 here, because why not, right? So the number 31, which it's a list of top 30, right? Is that internet routers can lead to harmful 5G radiation.
Huh?
Right. Okay, so I'm gonna. Part of that could be true. Like if you put your internet router underneath your pillow and you sleep on it at night, I'm sure that's not necessarily good for you.
So, what's funny about that is they're confusing 5G LTE or 5G
right.
Versus 5 gigahertz on your router.
Right.
Okay,
but
proceed.
Okay, and so, and the point there is, And I'm not saying
Popular
that.
mechanics is retarded.
Well,
Because it sounds like they're trying to discredit the 5G argument.
Yeah.
Is
Right.
what it sounds like.
Okay, so number 29 is the abominable snowman lives in Asia.
that's true.
Okay?
I mean,
Then-
Siberia is in Asia.
Yeah. Number 28 is it
I
talks
don't
about
think he's in Thailand.
No, he's definitely.
No.
I mean, if he was in Thailand, I mean,
He'd stick out and be hot.
yeah, a little boom boom chicken or whatever. So number 28 is the chemtrails, right?
Okay,
The
Which
airplane.
is real. That's not a conspiracy. It's
that's
real.
real. Yeah.
Right. Okay.
Cloud seeding.
Yep. Number 27 is the COVID-19 vaccine has a 5G chip inside of it.
I don't think that's real. But
I don't even think anyone that like is anti-COVID vaccine thinks that's real. That's not.
No.
No,
Okay.
but that's a perfect example. A perfect example of something we knew was probably true, and then there's a conspiracy on top of it to try to discredit the whole theory.
The whole thing.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Number 26 is that Queen Elizabeth was actually a man. I don't know who cares enough about that to have that idea.
I've heard a theory. Yeah, and it goes to some other stuff as well.
I haven't cared
Okay.
about the King or Queen of England since 1776, so
Boo! I care about if Michelle Obama's a man. Which one's that? Where's that? That's number 5.
all right, go ahead, buddy.
Number 25, Planet X. There's Planet X for you, Jody. Is the home to a world called Nibiru. Nibiru?
Yeah,
Okay,
Where the sovereigns are from.
yeah,
gotcha.
that has to do with the sovereigns as well.
Number 24, we're going to go with some mythology here, right? Number 24.
Is it really?
The
Really?
siren.
No.
What?
All right, sorry. Go ahead, Robbie.
Number 24, sirens were responsible for shipwrecks.
True.
Manatees and very scurvy sailors were responsible for shipwrecks.
Yeah, they did drink a lot while they were out, you know.
Well,
Anyway.
and their sea stories were amazing. I once caught a fish that was this big.
Yeah.
And had pits on it.
That seemed like a recruiting video for like the West India trading company, West Indies trading company. Number 23, the Black Knight satellite is an alien spacecraft.
I haven't heard of that. What?
All right, next. We'll look at that
Number
one later, but damn.
Yeah.
Okay.
Number 22, a solar flare caused the Titanic to sink.
No,
It didn't
that's
sink.
a whole nother thing. That's
It's
Jekyll Island.
The Titanic didn't sink. It was a sister ship. Boom.
That's in here too, but yeah. Number 21, 5G causes cancer and COVID-19.
Causes COVID-19?
That's
Okay.
what it says.
All right.
Number 20, this one is 100% real. The Loch Ness Monster lives in Scotland.
Fact.
Everybody knows that.
Yeah.
Okay. This one's weird to me. Number 19. Amelia Earhart was eaten by crabs.
Well,
Oh, man.
she was probably eaten by something.
I mean,
Yeah, I don't think that's a conspiracy.
Yeah.
But I do think Amelia Earhart was an awful pilot from all accounts in history.
She didn't have enough flight hours. She should have stayed up on her currency.
Yeah.
well, number 18. The Betz mystery sphere is alien material, which I don't know what the Betz is. So we may look into that one later.
Dude, I am not getting deep enough into the internet. Just when I thought I'd hit the end of it,
Bro,
there's more.
I found.
Dude, Popular Mechanics, man. Popular Mechanics. They got their thumb on the conspiracy world.
I've got a channel for you that will literally plummet you into this hole. And I was literally going down his list to figure out which one I was going to do.
Number 17. My friend Bill Gates is making fake snow.
That's probably true.
I mean, Six Flags makes fake snow.
All right, yeah, that's not a stretch.
Number 16, zombies can rise from the dead.
Definitely true.
Okay. Number 15, Apollo 17 wasn't the last moon mission.
I believe that.
Maybe.
Well, now it's definitely not the last moon mission, right?
Nobody's like been stepped foot on the moon.
Oh, I guess
then.
maybe that's what it's saying. I got you. Okay.
Yeah.
Number 14, the Titanic didn't actually sink. So there's that one for Jody. Number 13, the moon is not real.
Can we go back to the Titanic thing? So with the second Titanic,
The Olympus?
the Olympus, right? So the second one. But which one was the guys that opposed the Federal Reserve on? The Olympus?
I think.
Well, so
Because aren't those two rolled into each other?
Yes.
the Olympic,
Yeah.
so this is just a little small tip. The tragic accident has been the top of many conspiracy theories over the years, including that another one of the company's ocean liners, the Olympic, is the one that crashed into the iceberg, not the Titanic.
And J.P. Morgan was involved, and
Yeah.
And it was so apparently Starline was in some bad financial problems, and so the Titanic was the nice ship, and the Olympus Olympic, they said like was a gutted out ship, and then they sank that one to pay off the other two ships that they had.
and
They
they
say
killed
there's
everyone that was trying to rival J.P. Morgan on the
yeah, something like that.
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay. The moon isn't real. We talked about that, right? 13.
I mean, anything's possible. Yep. Okay.
I mean, who's going to debunk that? I mean,
Yeah. Well, why don't you go to the moon and find out then? See?
I'm just going to go there. I mean, Katy Perry went to space.
Damn it! You took my Katy Perry bit, man. I was literally waiting all night on that one.
Yeah.
If the moon was made of ribs, would you eat them?
I know I would.
Yeah.
I know I would.
Yeah, Katy Perry rode in a spaceship that looked like a dick to the moon, not to the moon, to outer space. Which, technically, I don't believe they actually went to outer space. They just went high in the atmosphere. Anyway,
Correct.
moving on.
Proceed.
Number 12, we're all living in the Matrix.
Possible.
Yeah. And one that's not on here that's going to tie to this one a little bit is that the world actually ended when the Mayans said it did, and we're all just living in a simulation ever since. Number 11, the Nazis have a secret base in Antarctica.
Fact.
Beyond the ice wall.
Well, there actually was one in Antarctica. Fact.
Number 10, Bigfoot is real.
Fact.
Fact.
Number 9 is probably one of my favorites, and I don't even know why, but we're talking about the British again. Prince Charles is a vampire.
Fact.
To all my
The
flat
world is a vampire.
Yeah. To all my flat earthers out there, number 8 says the world is flat, which can I just like I don't understand how somebody could possibly think that. I mean, I haven't personally like you can buy a ticket on a boat that goes around the entire world.
It's just
Like,
traveling in a circle.
You gotta look at the map. Like, the map. Their map is kind of what all this hinges on. It's not, I mean...
My favorite is like when we fly overseas and it goes like through the northern part of the world versus like straight around. It's like, hey, yeah, we're gonna go all the way up here and back down just to burn fuel.
Yeah. I just the whole world is flat thing, like I still have not heard one piece of evidence. They always give this whole horizon thing, and I just don't get it. And I don't understand why people are like so adamant about that.
Yeah, I mean, okay, so what? Now what? The Earth's flat. Now what?
Yeah, I mean, how does that change anything?
What? There's lizards underneath Denver's airport, and you're worried what shape the planet is?
We gotta do something about the lizards, man.
Number 7 is another Earth one that says the Earth is hollow, which I think technically it is.
Yep. Yep.
I'm surprised you didn't. Did you stumble upon that with the Denver airport thing? Because that's what I heard. That's what I was thinking as soon as you started.
It's a transition to the other world beneath our world. That was
Is that what that's part of? Is like the hollow Earth is like there's a world underneath our world?
Yeah.
Does that also mean that like there's a world above our world?
No, we're in the uppermost world out of all the worlds.
Okay. I'd love to dig into that one at some point. Number 6, Jody. The Denver airport is Illuminati headquarters. Okay. Number 5, Disney created Frozen as a distraction.
To what?
So, and at first I was like, yeah, this is kind of dumb. But so the rumor has it that Walt Disney has been cryogenically frozen.
He has.
And so, in order to confuse the internet from people digging much further into it, they came out with the movie Frozen, so it's considered Walt Disney's Frozen. So that way it puts a whole bunch of new crap on the internet to divert people from looking up to see if Walt Disney is frozen. So yeah, I had to look into that.
Just be like Walt Disney cryogenically frozen, and it'd be like, oh yeah, he was frozen and he came back to life. Zombies are real.
I mean, I believe that he's frozen, and they think that at some point they'll have the technology to unfreeze him.
Oof, he will not be happy.
Yeah,
he will not be happy.
Who put my John Hancock on this shit?
Oh, there's going to be a lot.
What is this Snow White?
When he finds out who's running his company, he is going to be very angry.
This is not the Little Mermaid. Anyway, number 4, the Earth has been sucked into a black hole.
Okay.
All right.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know where you go with that one. Number 3, we're back on COVID again. Number 3, COVID was engineered by the media.
No. Well, no, but okay.
The hysteria was.
Yeah.
Right.
So true.
Yeah. Number 2, which I don't even know why this one's still on the list, because I think we've pretty much confirmed that this is true. Number 2, the government killed JFK.
Yep.
And anyone want to guess what number 1 is?
Oklahoma City.
No.
9/11.
I'm going to go with either moon landing or 9/11.
It was the moon landing.
Yeah.
So real quick, I know we gotta get going here. It's getting kind of late, but real quick, what do you guys think about? Oh, it's not as late as I thought it was, but still, what do you guys think about the moon landing? Since we're on that topic.
So, go ahead, Jamie.
No, you go first.
So, do I think a lot of it was faked? Yes. As essentially a ploy to tell the Russians that, hey, we beat you to it, in the middle of all that stuff that was going on. Did we actually set foot on the moon? I think it's still possible. Maybe at a later mission type thing. But if you want to talk, like, technologically speaking, the Russians were light years ahead of us on the space program. And then we just put somebody on the moon.
So, do you think that we've actually been to the moon?
Because of the math of a few black women. That's how we made it to the moon.
Well, we didn't get to the moon with DEI.
So, Jody, do you think that we actually have been to the moon?
Yes.
Okay. Jamie?
I don't know. Why'd we stop?
That's a valid point. Or did we stop?
Yeah.
Did we fake the moon landing and then kept working on stuff? I mean, it's kind of hard to hide a rocket being shot up into the sky. I mean...
At that time.
Not if the Earth's flat.
At that time, it was... Yeah.
I mean... I can see where we would have faked the moon landing, just in order to be like, we're already there. Now you guys lose. And then we're sitting there in the studio in Hollywood, you know.
I don't think Hollywood was a part of it, because those.
Stanley Kubrick was, wasn't he?
That's a good question.
Stanley Kubrick, moon landing.
Stanley Kubrick's a weird dude. So I guess if I'm going to go the route of the moon landing is fake, I think we've been to the moon. I think we've landed on the moon, walked on the moon, all that stuff. I just don't necessarily think that maybe that was the time we were on the moon.
Yeah.
Also, but like you hear all the like reasons people think that the moon landing was fake. Most of their stuff doesn't really add up. Like they say, oh, the flag was waving. There's no air. It's got you can see clear as day. There's it's like an L-shaped pole.
Yeah.
Solar wind. Hello.
Duh.
Some people say, well, how'd they get the moon rover up there? If you've ever seen them put that stuff together, I mean, it's literally like having a car that like you have to. It's like Legos, you know. So I mean, like
they
that's
did it with
possible.
Jeeps and was it World War II or Korea where they'd send the Jeeps basically on pallets and you'd put it all together when it got there.
Yep. I'm trying to think of some of the other things they say but the only thing that makes any sense to me as far as that goes is we were trying to beat the Russians, and that you could fake the moon landing and then take your time getting there, like you didn't have to rush it.
I think that was the intent.
Yeah.
And especially after like Apollo 13 and some of those other things, I think that they've realized that they're rushing this thing a little bit to beat the Russians.
They're Russian.
Yeah. And so I think that bought them some time. So. Y'all got anything?
Didn't China say they were going to have a moon base here in the next 10, 15 years?
Not if they don't participate in our economy.
No, I don't have anything else. Good rap sesh, but I feel like we're not done with the conspiracy thing.
I'm gonna save my.
No,
later.
I think we probably should do a part 2. I think there's plenty of fun stuff to talk about.
Look at that link that I sent. There's a whole plethora of stuff that is available.
Okay, I'm gonna hit the stop button because I have a little bit of potentially good news.
Thank you for joining us on Bro Time. Tune in again next week.
Bro Time today.
Where we might dig a little deeper into these conspiracy theories.